Let me tell you a truth that can change how you carry your past. Guilt does not always make you a better person. Sometimes, guilt just keeps you stuck. And if you've been replaying something you did, something you said, or something you didn't do, this is for you. Because many people think guilt is proof they care. They think suffering is the price of responsibility. But that's not responsibility. That's self-punishment. Stay with me. In a few minutes, you'll understand what guilt really is, why it becomes so heavy, and how to stop living inside it. First, we need to separate 3 words people mix up: guilt, responsibility, shame. Guilt, in its healthiest form, is information. It's your inner system saying, something doesn't align with who I want to be. That can be a sign of values, a sign of awareness, a sign that you care. So feeling guilt doesn't automatically mean you're a bad person. It often means you're conscious. But here's the problem. Many people don't use guilt as information. They use it as a weapon. They don't listen and learn. They punish themselves. And that's where guilt stops being useful.
Here's the line that matters. Guilt becomes dangerous when it stops being a signal and becomes a place you live in. Because one thing is recognizing what happened. Another thing is replaying it every day, dragging it through your mind, and calling that growth. That's not growth. That's being trapped. And the trap is subtle. Outside, you keep functioning. You work, you talk, you show up. But inside, a part of you is still back there. Now, this is the most important distinction. Healthy guilt says, I did something wrong. But when guilt stays too long, it often turns into something heavier. It turns into shame. And shame doesn't say, I did wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. And that changes everything. Because if you believe you did something wrong, you can repair, you can learn, you can grow. But if you believe you are the problem, you don't grow. You collapse. You punish yourself. And self-punishment doesn't make you better. It makes you tired, harder on yourself, further from peace. Let me break a common myth. Many people believe if I stop feeling guilty, I'm being irresponsible. But that's not true. You can take responsibility without destroying yourself. Here's the honest truth. Ongoing guilt doesn't always mean you're accountable. Sometimes it just means you're stuck in fear. Fear of being judged, fear of not being forgiven, fear of admitting you can't change the past. So you keep paying the same emotional debt again and again, as if pain is the proof you care. But pain is not proof. Change is proof. Repair is proof. Learning is proof. That's why the message is, it's not punishment. So what do you do with guilt in a real-life way? Here are 3 steps that work, because they're human. Not perfect, human. Step 1, name what guilt is trying to protect. Ask, value of mine got touched here. Honesty, loyalty, kindness, respect. Guilt usually points to something you care about. Step 2. Take responsibility where you can. If you can repair something, do it. A message, an apology, a changed behavior, something real. Not to erase the past, but to stop repeating it. Step 3. Release what you cannot change. This is the hardest step because it requires maturity. I learned, I'm responsible, and I'm not going to live in punishment. That's not weakness, that's growth.
Now, what does meditation have to do with this? Meditation does not erase what happened. It doesn't make you forget. It doesn't magically absolve you. But it gives you something priceless. Space. Space between the memory and the reaction. Space between I made a mistake and I must suffer. Space between the emotion and the story that crushes you. And when you have space, you can choose. You can respond instead of spiraling. You can learn without destroying yourself. That's why it helps. Not because it fixes life, but because it changes how you carry life. If you remember one line from this video, let it be this. Guilt doesn't always make you better. Often, it just keeps you stuck. You can take responsibility and still be kind to yourself. Thank you for being here in this class. Before you go, give yourself a gentle applause because you gave yourself this moment. I'm proud of you for giving yourself this time today. One more breath to come back to you. And in the comments, share one word. How do you feel now?